Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and thanks for watching my new video. So in this video I'm going to show you how to go from this to this. So if you want to learn some new tips and tricks to get a perfect, healthy, glowy, flawless looking skin, then keep on watching. Okay, so what I really like is this routine is exactly actually what I did when I struggled with acne. So, I had to go somewhere and my skin looked honestly horrible. I always used to use a lot of high covering products, but honestly, I was just actually enhancing everything that was going on my skin. And then I changed it to something like the opposite. I only use sheer products, and I layered and layered and layered my foundation to get that full coverage look, but still have that, that luminous effect, actually to fake the healthy look. So this is not only my routine now, but it's actually forever until I change up my mind again. But I feel like this is so much more beautiful. It looks so much more natural, even though it isn't. And I honestly feel very, very confident when I wear this kind of makeup, because even if I'm in elevator light or whatsoever, the worst light you could possibly think of, I am I still feel confident because I know it looks good even though you're this close. And I didn't have that with the full coverage products. I was like, oh my god, the light is so heavy here and it's just going to look cakey and very makeup-ish. I love to have a glow, because for me the definition of healthy skin is glowy skin. So I really love to use glow products and sheer products. So the first thing that I'm going to use is this rebound spray that I've used I think a couple of times now, and I really, really love the glow that this primer leaves on your skin. It's a prepping spray, and so everything you put on top of the spray is just so smooth and glides on so easily that, I don't know, it just gives this beautiful glowy layer on top of your skin. Okay. Next thing that I like to do is taking a foundation that is I would say light to medium coverage and then build that up. So I am going to use these two. This is from Givenchy and this is the Blurring Foundation Balm. So I feel like it's kind of it's not really a foundation, but it's not really a BB cream either. So it's kind of in between. Double Wear Nude Cushion Stick from Estee Lauder. This is very sheer as well. So I'm going to mix those two because this is more on the neutral side for color and this is more on the warm side. This gives a beautiful blurry effect and this is more to, to get a little bit more coverage going on. Okay, so I'm just going to add some dots to my face. So taking my damp beauty blender, I'm just going to press that into the skin. So it looks still like skin. As you can see, the foundation is a little bit on the darker side, but I am going to fix that with concealer later. If you want to add a little bit more, you can just do another quick layer. So really try to focus on covering the imperfections instead of everything on your face. Ooh, that looks a bit darker than what I expected, but I'm going to fix that with concealer. So the concealer I'm going to use, it can be a little bit more covering since everything is quite sheer and you're not going to. So I'm going to use a Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer in a light medium beige. And I'm going to apply that on the circles. So I do use a little bit more concealer because I feel like, I need to make sure to. I'm just highlighting the places where I always highlight. And I'm also going to use this on my jawline to make sure the foundation doesn't look too dark. Blend everything. And see, because the foundation is quite sheer, everything is going to look natural when you apply it. So even though it's a lot of concealer, a beauty blender is actually my favorite thing to use when it comes to faking a healthy skin. because everything is going to look flat on your face instead of like really on top of your face. I'm going to do next, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, which is even lighter, and this is actually this is the perfect concealer when it comes to coverage, but still looks quite natural. And this is to highlight, like really highlight like certain parts of my face. I'm going to really pop this out. See that? Just pops out a little bit more. The next thing that I like to do is, I was actually not really a huge fan of using cream products when it comes to contouring, because you know, I was just not really good at it. I was just being lazy. But I feel like cream products look so much more natural on your skin, so much more radiant instead of all those powders. So what I actually do is I use more products but less of each product. And you know, back in the days I used to just, not even back in the days, like a month ago or 2 months ago, I just went in with my foundation, with my concealer, really contour the face, and then on camera it looked good, but in real life I thought it was just a little bit too much. So I still love the full coverage look, don't get me wrong, but I still want it to be, you know, like glowing. So one of my favorite sticks to contour my face with is the Hola bronzer stick from Benefit. I am really in love with this color, and I feel like a lot of people can use this color, which is weird because, you know, if you're very light, you might think that this will look a little bit orange or whatsoever. But it actually is really nice. Well, contouring my nose just a little. I like to contour the top only. And then here, to make your lips look a little full. The sides of my head, which is my favorite because I have a wide forehead. You see, it's not even a lot darker. This just glides on so easily, so smooth. And it's so creamy and so blendable that, you know, your contour looks so real, as if you just had a tan on the beach, you know, sun-kissed skin and all. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I do everything with my beauty blender. So no powders yet. Okay, you see this glow and this look. It's contoured, but it's not even like very obvious. So what I'm going to do next is, still not using any powder, I am going to use a creamy highlighter with a little bit of powder highlighter on top. You don't have to do that, but you know, I like to be extra glowy. One of my favorite products when it comes to glow is the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush Palette. It's just so, you know, I always say that her makeup is just next level, and it really is, and I will show you why. Because you can blend everything, you can actually do everything with this palette. As you can see, I've used it a lot. What I do is I'm using the cream base first, so this is actually a cream highlighter slash bronzer. Then I use this powder on top. This is the extreme glow, and then you can use this to really get that golden effect going on. And then this cream blush, I used to not be a huge fan of cream blush, but this one looks very bright, but on your face it's just, oh, it's so beautiful. And then you can use a little bit powder blush on top of that. But I'm still going in with the same beauty blender in that creamy base here. And I'm just going to add this on my cheekbones. This is actually the base, so everything you put after this is going to stick to this base. This is already very beautiful. So you can already see the glow, but before I'm going in with the highlighter powders, I am going to use a cream blush. I'm actually kind of like in a doubt to use the Natasha Denona, or should I just use NARS Orgasm? I don't use this a lot, so I'm going to use this one. Okay, so going to, I don't know if this is too light. This actually kind of reminds me of the Victoria's Secret glow, if you know what I mean. So what I love about creams, you can just add more and more and more without like even really noticing anything. I'm going to use a little bit of this cream blush to get a little bit more pigment. That's it. So if you have too much product going on here, you know, just find some place on your body to get rid of it and then go back in. And what I like to do is I like to bring the blush a little bit into here, kind of like a la Rihanna. I don't know, it gives this beautiful effect. So now this is very exciting. I'm taking my BH Cosmetics brush in number 6, which is a beautiful marble brush, and I'm going in with diamond powder. Okay, just going to tap that on top of the base. So now I'm taking Glow Extreme with the same brush. I'm just going to go on top. Then what I like to do is I'm going to take my MAC blush. This is in the shade Taupe, and I'm going to set the places where we've applied the bronzer. And since this is a cool toned bronzer, it's not going to add more warmth because it's already quite warm. It's just going to make it a little bit more contoured, and it's going to set the bronzer. I'm taking my BH Cosmetics again, Studio Pro brush in number 2, going in with this, just a little bit. I'm just pressing this on top of the bronzer. You're probably thinking, hello, when is she going to use some powder? Now I'm going to use powder. I'm not going to use a loose powder. You can definitely do that, but I'm going to use a water weight studio press powder from MAC, and this is a very light powder which you can't really even like notice on your face. So I'm just going to use a little bit because I don't like to use a lot of powder when it comes to like faking a healthy glow. So from the same like line from BH Cosmetics, this is in the number 5, and I'm going in with this a little bit more of a yellow color. So make sure there are no creases underneath your eyes. Just press it into skin just a little bit because you actually don't need that much powder. And what I also like to kind of like set is the lines around my mouth and slightly my forehead. Okay, if you have oily skin, you can use a little bit more, or you can use a mattifying primer, but if I were you, I wouldn't use a lot. It's just not necessary. Run quickly on top of my eyes to get rid of the oil. This is actually a priming spray, but I love to use it on top of my makeup because it just gives you that, you know, beautiful glowy finish. If you think your finish is too matte, I don't think this is too matte, but you know, I just want that bit of extra glow. But if you think your finish is too matte and you can use some glow without like putting another layer of highlighter, you can definitely use the Rebound spray. Okay, so once that is kind of like dried, I'm going to use my Urban Decay Chill setting spray. You do want to use a lot of setting spray because this is going to function as your powder. It's going to lock everything into its place and without like putting another like layer on top of your skin. I find this so beautiful, you guys. I have to do this more often. So I quickly did my brows with the Anastasia dip brow in medium brown, and then I used a little bit of blonde brow gel in the front of the brows. And I've used Urban Decay from the new Beach collection, the lipstick in Tower 1 metallized lipstick. And that is actually pretty much what I do with my skin lately. This is a very, very sheer glowy look, but I promise you, if you would see me in daylight, it still looks amazing. And this completely changed actually the way I look at makeup, because I feel like we can learn so much from different bloggers or makeup artists or whatsoever. And I feel like going to these master classes, like for example from Sir John or Summer Kuzami, or just looking at other bloggers or looking at campaigns, editorials, I feel like we can learn so much, and we don't necessarily need a lot of products. I've used many products, but I didn't use a lot of product per product, if you know what I mean. And try to use less powder. It's just going to make a huge difference for you. If you are going to get really dewy and greasy, use a little bit more setting spray, or just use powder on the places where you get really oily fast. So using cream products, using less powder, using less product per each product. I don't know if that makes sense, but you probably get me by now. And use a little bit more setting spray, and the rebound is really beautiful. So I feel like, yeah, those are the new tips and tricks that I've learned using a beauty blender with almost everything. And don't go in too harsh with your contour if you want to create a very healthy looking skin. So that's pretty much